The 2026 Winter Paralympics have officially opened in Italy, uniting elite para-athletes from around the world. The opening ceremony unfolded inside Verona's ancient arena, transformed for a global broadcast. As celebrations began, questions over the participation of Russian and Belarusian athletes sparked debate. Several governments and teams signaled protest actions, setting a tense backdrop to an otherwise jubilant night. In this report, we outline what happened at the ceremony, who is protesting, and what it could mean for the Games. Verona, Milan, and Cortina host venues across northern Italy, with the arena providing a dramatic stage for the flame. Headline reactions and official statements started arriving even before the cauldron was lit. The torch relay concluded with the lighting of the Paralympic flame before a packed crowd. Inside the arena, staging and lighting framed the Parade of Nations and artistic performances. The Paralympic agitos flew prominently, signaling competition and inclusion. Close-ups of the cauldron captured the ceremony's symbolism and emotion. As night fell over Verona, celebration met controversy, and the world began to watch. The Winter Paralympics are the world's biggest multi-sport event for elite athletes with disabilities. Held every 4 years, they showcase high-performance sport on snow and ice. The 6 sports are para-alpine skiing, cross-country, biathlon, snowboard, para-ice hockey, and wheelchair curling. Athletes train year-round for unforgettable moments of pure emotion that define the Paralympic spirit. The Games symbolize courage, determination, and the power of human potential. The spectacle unfolded inside Verona Arena, transformed for the Paralympic opening night. As darkness fell, fireworks crowned the stone arches. The Parade of Nations and performances honored resilience before the Paralympic flame was kindled, a beacon for the competition ahead. In one sweeping montage, the ceremony distilled its message: motion, inclusion, and the start of competition. Even before the ceremony began, a controversy was building over who would be allowed to compete. The International Paralympic Committee approved a limited number of Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete as neutrals. No flags, no anthems, no team symbols. The move drew immediate criticism from several governments, who argued that allowing participation during the ongoing war in Ukraine sends the wrong signal. Supporters countered that athletes are individuals and that neutral entry separates sport from state policy. The debate centered on symbols: who appears, under what flag, and what message that sends to millions watching. As positions hardened, several countries chose a calibrated response. They would compete, but not take part in the opening ceremony. In response to the IPC decision, 7 countries announced they would boycott the opening ceremony. Those nations were Ukraine, Poland, Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and the Czech Republic. Several governments also joined a diplomatic protest, skipping official festivities and signaling their stance from the podiums. Athletes from these countries still competed in the Games, but they did not take part in the opening ceremony itself. The boycott underscored how global politics can collide with international sport on the world's biggest stages. Organizers leaned on the Paralympic agitos and calls for unity, while acknowledging each nation's decision. Across Europe, maps highlighted the northern and central countries, confirming they would not march at Verona. Headlines and press briefings detailed the rationale behind each delegation's choice and the timing of their announcements. Broadcasters mapped the implications for the ceremony, crowd shots, and official seating during the procession. As the cauldron burned, coverage blended symbols and maps to track the unfolding fallout. In short, athletes from the 7 nations competed but skipped the pageantry, while governments lodged diplomatic protests, setting the stage for the deeper dispute over Russian and Belarusian participation. Russia's place at the Paralympics has been contentious for years. In 2016, the International Paralympic Committee banned Russia over state-sponsored doping. Additional restrictions followed after the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. More recently, the IPC adopted a policy allowing a limited number of Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete again as neutrals. The approach is highly divisive among governments, federations, athletes, and fans. Under neutral status, no flag, anthem, or national colors are permitted, and athletes face enhanced vetting. Several European nations objected, citing ethical and security concerns. Supporters argue individual athletes should not be punished for state actions. Critics warn participation risks, normalizing aggression. Today's IPC framework aims to separate athletes from state politics while upholding strict conditions. Proponents say this protects individual careers and keeps pathways open for athletes who meet all integrity standards. Opponents counter that the timing, amid an ongoing war, undercuts solidarity with Ukraine and can be exploited for propaganda. Event organizers and national committees are navigating uneven policies, with some governments responding with boycotts while others compete. The result is a patchwork reflecting a broader debate about the role of sport during conflict. For now, the IPC's limited, neutral participation policy remains in place, reviewed as circumstances evolve. Many competitors have spent years preparing for the Paralympics. For them, the Games represent the culmination of countless hours of training and dedication. Some athletes argue that sport should remain separate from politics. Others believe that international competitions cannot ignore global conflicts. On the arena floor, flags that symbolize conflict also represent people. Teammates, rivals, even friends who still respect each other. The Agitos hangs above it all, a reminder of why they came: performance, inclusion, and the belief that sport can be bigger than division. Most keep their focus on the controllables: starts, edges, split seconds, hoping results can speak when words may not. In benches and warm-up areas, choices are personal: a quiet gesture, a brief statement, or simply competing. Each path carries weight. Behind every start is a long journey: qualifying races, visas and classifications, rehab and recalibrated goals. For some, family and friends watch from afar amid uncertainty. Others compete under neutral symbols to avoid punishing teammates for politics they cannot control. Many lean on coaches, mental health staff, and one another as social media pressure builds. In mixed zones, athletes from opposing nations sometimes trade nods or brief words, acknowledgement without endorsement. Their views differ, but the human impact is shared: the need to feel safe, to be heard, and to perform at their best. On the ice, the track, or the hill, they try to hold two truths at once: that competition matters, and conscience does too. Despite the controversy, competition is underway across the Milan Cortina venues. From Cortina's alpine courses to Milan's ice arenas, today's schedule is packed with heats and early finals. Highlights include sit-ski alpine runs, banked slalom for para-snowboard, and high-tempo para-ice hockey. For athletes, the focus stays on execution, teamwork, and the pursuit of Paralympic medals. In alpine, sit-skiers attack technical gates and blast through the finish with split-second margins. On the slopes, para-snowboarders land clean airs and drive speed through the banks. And on the ice, sledge hockey brings sharp passing, heavy collisions, and clutch saves. Early podiums are set as medals are awarded, the Verona cauldron burns against the night, and the crowd surges, while more heats, semifinals, and marquee finals await in the days ahead. Around the world, reactions to the Paralympics controversy have been mixed: support, skepticism, and concern arriving in equal measure. Some leaders back the boycott, saying international sport must stand against aggression and uphold the principles of sovereignty and fair play. The debate has widened into a governance question. How should sports bodies balance neutrality, athlete rights, and responses to geopolitical conflict? Online, social feeds are split. Solidarity posts, calls for bans, pleas to protect athletes, and heated threads that amplify both empathy and misinformation. In Europe, several nations closest to the conflict lead the boycott, while others compete but voice condemnation through official statements. Newsrooms and analysts debate legality, ethics, and precedent, asking what today's choices mean for future games under similar pressures. As the flame burns in Verona and the agitos shine, the conversation continues. Sport striving to unite while the world watches closely. The 2026 Winter Paralympics open amid both celebration and controversy. As competition unfolds on snow and ice, debate over participation continues to shape the story around these games. In the days ahead, watch for guidance from organizers, responses from governments, and how athletes navigate the moment. One thing remains clear: the world is watching. Yet the spirit of sport, shared effort, respect, and resilience still has the power to bring people together. Over Verona, the agitos rises, 3 arcs in motion, reminding us that performance, respect, and resilience can carry us forward together tonight. Across arenas and mountains, athletes celebrate and prepare. Flags wave, cameras flash, and the cauldron burns against the night. Behind every start are years of training, rehab, and hope. Some march, some protest, yet all chase clean competition and personal bests. Coaches steady nerves, families watch, and new stories begin on ice and snow. As the music fades, remember what endures: effort, inclusion, and the courage to compete. The games continue. Subscribe for updates.